Hey, superstars. Thanks for joining us today. I'm your host, Aaron Zakowski, and today I'm chatting with Baskar Agneeswaran. Baskar is the founder and CEO of Vajro, a Shopify app that converts Shopify stores into native mobile apps in just minutes. He's also been voted amongst the 40 under 40 most influential business leaders in Asia. Hey, Baskar, how you doing today?
Hey, Aaron, doing great, and thanks for having me here.
Yeah, I'm excited to finally have you on the show. We've known each other for a couple of years now, and happy we have an opportunity to have you on the podcast now.
Oh yeah, definitely looking forward to this.
Yeah. So to get started, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and about Vajro?
Oh yeah, sure. So I'm a CPA by qualification, and been an entrepreneur for the past 20 years. And started Vajro about 4 years back. And somewhere around April of 2018 is when we launched Vajro for Shopify. And we've been growing at a frenetic pace since then. So we currently have about 2,500 active paying clients across close to 100 countries. So yeah, that's basically where we are right now.
Amazing. And how big is the company right now in terms of the team and the employee count?
Oh yeah, so yeah, we are about slightly over 200 people.
Oh wow.
So yeah, most of our staff are based out of India. And yeah, that's where we have our dev shop, and currently all of the sales and marketing as well.
All right. So you mentioned that by trade you were a CPA, by an accountant, right? So how did you get into running a Shopify app? Like, what made you go into this niche?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. First up, so it's a very interesting backstory to that. So sometime in 2010, I was actually having my practice. So sometime in 2010, I was actually sitting with a client, and there was the other CPA who was a part of the meeting. So in the course of the meeting, I actually realized that I was actually in the wrong place. So what happened was the client asked some very pertinent questions relating to his company and wanted some advice. So the advice that I gave was basically crap. And the advice that the other CPA gave basically opened my eyes. And that's when I actually realized that, you know, I'm in the wrong place, that my heart was basically not there. And then kind of thought over it and realized that technology is what basically interested me. And we were already doing some audits that were completely based on technology. We were writing SQLs to audit very complex transactions. So that was definitely very interesting, and that's how the migration kind of evolved, right, from the audit to technology. So sometimes I think it takes a lot of time for people to kind of understand or realize what their core interest is. And unfortunately, in my case, it took like close to 35 years. And but it's never too late. So I realized my passion for technology, and then I teamed up with my brother-in-law, Niven. And we initially started with something else, and that kind of failed. Then we kind of hit it off with Vajro finally.
Amazing. I don't know if you know, but I actually have a background in accounting also. I was a CPA and auditor for Deloitte before I got into marketing and technology. So we've got a similar background over there.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I think
it feels like a lifetime ago, almost 15, 20 years ago since I left that. But
okay.
So how specifically did you end up with Shopify? Like, did you identify, Shopify e-commerce as just an up and coming niche, or?
Oh, okay. So quite a bit of backstory to that too. So before Vajro, we actually started a price comparison app for the North American market. So that was called Prizap. So that basically failed. So when we thought through the whole thing, we realized we identified three key learnings for us. So the first one was that we basically had a lot of expertise in mobile technology. But for a price comparison app, the bulk of the work was basically at the back end, and we didn't have much of an expertise there. So whatever we wanted to do next, we wanted to make sure that mobile was at the center of it. So that's one learning. The second learning was we basically learned a lot about the e-commerce market itself, even though it failed, right? So we decided that we wanted to stick to the e-commerce industry. So that was our second learning. And the third learning was all of us basically had a lot of B2B experience. None of us had B2C experience. And in our next stint, we wanted to make sure that we stuck to something that was B2B. And based on these three key learnings, we kind of deliberated a lot, introspected a lot, and then came up with the idea of mobile app builder for Shopify.
Amazing. And obviously history now shows that it was a pretty good idea. You've grown the company pretty well.
Yeah, in hindsight, yes, it did turn out to be a good idea. Possibly kind of the right, we were at the right place at the right time with the idea, because that's when the whole concept of mobile commerce was taking off. So, and Shopify had opened up their ecosystem, and in 2018, we could just put up some good apps, and that would have been enough for people to grow. That may not be the case today, but that was the case about 4 years back.
Mm-hmm. So once you launched the app, what did you guys do initially to create that traction and the first 100 or so paying customers?
Okay, so we did absolutely nothing. So the only thing that we did was we introduced a price plan that was very competitive. So started out with like $25 a month. So that was a kind of a no-brainer kind of a plan for a lot of people. And that basically accelerated sales for us in terms of acquiring a lot of customers. And as we kept acquiring customers, we started learning a lot about what the customers expect, and how we need to kind of take the product in a direction that customers would love it. So we started learning a lot about that. And then after 3 to 4 months, we launched our $125 plan. And within about 6 months, we actually had more people subscribing to the $125 plan than they had actually subscribed to the $25 plan. But at that point in time, the growth was all organic. So we didn't even know the word product-led growth existed. So we knew nothing about PLG, but we were doing a lot of stuff that was PLG. So the kind of virality that we could get just with the product, that led to a lot of installs and initial traction for us. So in fact, I think we came to you only about a couple of years back. So the first couple of years, most of the growth was kind of organic.
Okay. And then once you decided to take it to the next stage is when we started working on paid advertising together.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay, amazing. And I just took a look at your Shopify app page on the App Store yesterday, and I saw you had already over 1,200 5-star reviews. How important are reviews within the marketplace and for growth? And how did you get so many? I mean, you told me you've got 2,500 paying customers right now, and you've got 1,200 5-star reviews, which is almost half of them. How are you getting people to leave those 5-star reviews? How are you keeping them so happy? And how important is that star review rating within the ecosystem?
Okay, that's another interesting question, right? So when we launched Vajro for Shopify, we didn't even know about competition. So only after we launched, we realized that there were already people who were doing this. And when we researched our competitors, we realized that, a couple of our competitors actually had a 2-year head start over us. And they actually had one of them had like about 155 reviews, and the other had like about 110 reviews when we had 0. So but we made a very conscious effort. We said we had to win this review game week on week. That was basically the game plan. So and we very consciously worked towards kind of set up our success team and the support team in accordance with that, to make sure we delivered the absolute best for our customers. So as we started doing that, and as we constantly started to drive reviews, we kind of started winning that game week on week. And over a period of time, we have grown significantly in terms of the number of reviews. And right now, we are in a position where we have possibly twice the number of reviews as compared to our nearest competition. So that's how we are looking at this. We kind of take it week by week and make sure that we win that every week. So, but it has definitely helped us a lot. So the pace of our reviews has definitely helped us a lot in terms of, when a customer comes in, and if he's looking at Vajro and also evaluating a few more competitors, the reviews kind of stand out. That's one of the key reasons I feel why clients install Vajro over competition. So from that perspective, it's definitely very critical for us.
And I know that you have a 60-day free trial, as opposed to most apps seem to have a 14-day or 30-day trial. Do you think that makes a big impact on people choosing you as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. Again, as I said, it's been only about 9 to 12 months since I even heard of the concept of PLG, but intuitively we were following most of the PLG principles. So the principle that we are talking about here is to basically make the customer get the ROI. So make the customer see value before extracting value from the client. So it's really as simple as that, right? So we basically want to make sure that customers start to get downloads, they start to see some kind of value before we actually, start to make them pay for the app. That's really how we look at it.
I mean, that's brilliant if you think about it. I mean, it sounds so simple, yet so many other companies might be so quick to want to get to the point of revenue and proving that they've actually got a paying customer. And you're kind of flipping that on its head and saying, well, let's just make sure we have someone who's long-term really going to pay, even though the cash flow might actually be delayed a little bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, on the one hand, we definitely want to be very capital efficient. So, but on the other hand, the customer definitely has to see value in the product before he starts to pay us for it. Mm-hmm. So, therefore, we definitely want to make sure that our customers feel very comfortable in, actually making the cut and, making the payment. So we are definitely very conscious of it.
Amazing. If you were starting a Shopify app business today, what would you do differently to be growing from the beginning if you were starting from scratch?
Okay, so the biggest disadvantage that I see for incumbent Shopify plugins is it's not that kind of organic growth may not exist for the large part of the ecosystem today. Mm-hmm. So because it has matured a lot over the last few years. So if a person wants to come in today, unless it's something that's really, really stand out, it's going to be very difficult for people to get the kind of traction that we guys got about 4 years back. So mm-hmm. that's the reality of it today. So they possibly need to spend a lot on different channels to really make customers to try the app and so on. So that's definitely something that people need to be very mindful of when they're considering venturing into the Shopify ecosystem today.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of the idea of starting a new Shopify app business, I've read within some communities where I'm involved about people, purchasing apps versus necessarily building apps. What do you think is the best path towards growing a successful business? Getting started with this. If you were to start something new today, would you start from scratch coding, or would you buy a small app that looks like there was some growth potential?
Oh, okay.
Or would you recommend others, not necessarily for yourself, but?
Oh yeah. So I mean, so let me look at the question from two angles. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I'm looking at it from an e-commerce store perspective, it kind of the whole ecosystem makes it very easy for Shopify stores to add capabilities to their store in terms of functionalities and features. So everything is available as a plugin. So and most of the time it's very intuitive and very easy to use, right? So so from that perspective, I would, if I were an e-commerce store, I would possibly do that. But if I were a plugin developer, I would today I would possibly try to acquire someone who has already been there and garnered a certain number of reviews and acquired a certain number of clients, rather than trying to build something from scratch. Because as I said, building something from scratch today is you're going to get very little attention, because there are like thousands of apps and only so many clients that need all these apps.
That makes sense. All right. Switching a little bit from the Shopify questions right now. Where do you see the best opportunities for marketing right now and driving traffic and customers for Shopify apps or for other B2B SaaS companies?
Okay. So I would possibly say it's possibly not one channel over the other. I think you got to do multiple things to be able to drive traffic. So you just got to show yourself wherever your customers are. So if they are on Facebook, go ahead and do Facebook ads. If they are on LinkedIn, go ahead and do LinkedIn ads. Whatever the media that your clients are likely to be in, you got to really show yourself up there. And the other part is you got to do a lot more than just paid media. You got to have a nice blog section on your website. All the basics of digital marketing. You basically need to have nice conversion funnels on your website. So you got to have all that, and then you got to have a great partnership team that's working on stitching together different partnerships with different players, and all that is again opportunity to be in front of potential clients. So you got to do a lot of things to really drive traffic to the top of the funnel.
Mm-hmm. How important have partnerships been for Vajro?
Oh, partnerships has been super important for us. So very early on, we realized that, and one of the things that we did was, we started integrating with a lot of other plugins within the Shopify ecosystem. So, and that obviously resulted in a few great partnerships for us. And we've outside of that, we've also hit up a lot of partnership opportunities with other resellers and communities and so on. So all that has been very, very important lead magnets for us.
All right. What's some of the things you struggle with the most in running your business and growing the business?
Okay. The thing that Vajro struggles with the most currently is possibly the churn levels. So what we see today is, let's kind of take a step back. So we are primarily playing the game in the SME segment within Shopify. right? So therefore, the stores themselves have only a percentage of these stores are going to be successful, right? So therefore, a percentage of that kind of percolates into our churn as well. So they are fundamentally not successful with their e-commerce business, and therefore we have slightly higher churn as possibly compared to other plugins or other players in the ecosystem. But we are very aware of it. We know this is where we want to play the game. This is our strength, and therefore we are doing what we are doing.
All right, that makes sense. Let's jump into the lightning round. Couple quick questions, couple quick answers. First question would be, what book would you recommend to our listeners to read?
The book that I would recommend. So I've never read a management book in my life. So the book that I would recommend is possibly a book called Spear by Michael Crichton. So it's all about self-consciousness, awareness, and those kind of stuff. So it's actually a fictional book, but that is possibly what I would recommend.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that one out. What's your favorite marketing or productivity tool right now?
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
Your favorite marketing or productivity tool?
My favorite marketing or productivity tool. Okay, I came across this company called Zocket a few days back. So they're a very interesting company. They basically help e-commerce stores, automate the process of, doing ads across multiple social media platforms. I thought that was a very interesting concept.
All right. And who's your favorite marketer or business leader that you're learning from right now?
My favorite business leader would possibly be Elon Musk. So what I learn a lot from him is, how daring entrepreneurs can actually be, right? So some of the stuff that he has done is really out of the world. So
literally,
I mean, literally out of the world, right? That's what he wants to do. So, jokes apart, I think what he has done with the car industry is just unbelievable. Fundamentally, if you look at what Musk has done for Tesla, it's basically like he has reimagined how a car would work, right? What the fundamental difference between Tesla and all other car manufacturers is that they all look at it as fundamentally a mechanical car as a mechanical device, and they try to add computers on top of it. But the way Elon Musk has designed it, he has basically conceived of it as a software that drives a machine. So therefore, he has been able to do a lot of stuff that others can only dream of. So from that perspective, I think he kind of really nailed the product, if you can call it that.
All right, amazing. Final question: where can our listeners go to learn more about you?
Sorry?
Where should our listeners go to learn more about you?
Oh, I'm really sorry. I didn't get your question at all.
Where can listeners go to learn more about you, to follow you?
Oh, okay. So possibly my LinkedIn profile would possibly be the best place for them to learn more about me. But if they want to learn more about Vajro, I think they would do well to start following our website and our social media handles. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Baskar, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show today. I know I learned a lot, and I'm sure a lot of other listeners are going to learn a lot about the Shopify ecosystem and marketing as well. So thank you very much for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks so much, Aaron. It was a pleasure talking to you as always. So looking forward to it.